What up, YouTube warriors? Your boy Halucha Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another WWE Raw SmackDown talk. Now, of course, SmackDown was Friday, obviously. I didn't do a video for it, basically because nothing really happened on SmackDown. Um, Besides the draft, there was a couple matches. One match was really good, but it was nothing crazy to talk about the whole show. So instead, I'm just going to combine them all between SmackDown and Raw about kind of what happened a little bit. And then we're going to talk about draft, who went where, and what that means for them. So without further ado, we're going to talk about SmackDown. Uh, SmackDown first opens. Cody Rhodes comes out, does a contract signing with AJ Styles. They kind of just talk back and forth. Um, nothing, nothing happened between them. He just said, "I know your dad. He'll be proud of you." You know, people were kind of booing AJ Styles, but AJ Styles was like, "Look, no disrespect. Me and Cody is cool. I respect Cody. LA Knight, I hate him. That was just a different side of me because of him. We good. Shake hands." And that's pretty much that was pretty much it. Uh, they start the draft. I guess I'll do this one part of the draft. Triple H comes out, and then they come out. SmackDown gets first pick. SmackDown chooses Bianca Belair. Raw chooses Jey Uso. SmackDown then chooses again Carmelo Hayes, and then Raw chooses Seth Rollins. Now I know you're wondering, no bloodline, no Roman Reigns in bloodline. Paul Heyman said earlier that uh, Roman took himself out of the draft, like he undrafted himself because it wouldn't be fair to either brand because he's not going to be there. So it's like, why draft me if I'm not going to be there? So that's what that was. And then a little bit later, Solo Sokoa came out, or he came through the bus van thing, and it was like, "Have we been drafted yet?" It was like, "No, not really." He was like, "Can't be drafted because uh, Tribal Chief, he's the guy, and then you just by yourself, you're just making odd decisions. Nobody knows what they're gonna get from you." And he's just like, "Okay, I got you." And then I think during the next round, like right after the next round, the Bloodline got mentioned, which was hilarious. Um, they had a match: Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio versus Angel Umberto. Fine match. It wasn't anything crazy. Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio win, of course. And then Selena Vega was out there with them, and Carlito was out there for some reason with them too. Legato comes out. He was like, "Hey, congratulations on your win, but like we said, we didn't attack you. But my girl over here, Electra Lopez, she did a little bit of digging. I think she figured something out." So they go to the screen, and as the tape of Carlito attacking Dragon Lee, whooping him up, Carlito's just like, everybody was looking, was like, "I told you." And then Carlito takes Dragon Lee, he throws him into Rey Mysterio, and then he leaves. So that's interesting. And also, an interesting thing is, I guess we'll talk about that in a second. But so that's the thing. Next up, Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. One of the surprising things was Braun Breaker actually got to Raw. So we'll talk about that in a second. But just like that, they was talking a little bit of trash. Cedric got like a little bit of offense, and then it was over. Spear. He tried to do I think the neuralizer, and then boom, spear midair. So that was the thing. Next up, Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. Match didn't happen. Um, because um, Na- Nia Jax got involved. So they were backstage. Tiffany Stratton was backstage with Nick Aldis, and Tiffany was like, "Hey, you see what I did out there? I should be number one contender for Bayley's title." And she was like, not really, because you kind of interrupted the match of the one who's supposed to be number one contender. So instead, we're going to give you a match with Naomi, and the winner of that match faces Bayley at Backlash. She was like, "What idiot had that idea?" And then Bayley comes, "Hello, ding dong, it was me." It's like, either way it works out, because if Naomi wins, we get to have the match that you robbed us of. And if you win, well, then it'll be my pleasure to teach you a lesson, pretty much. So they had the match. It was good stuff for when it was going. And then Nia Jax attacks Bayley, and then she attacks Naomi because Naomi was trying to go after her. She said, "Mind your business." And then, yeah, Tiffany Stratton beat up both of them, and that was the end of it. So there you go. No finish. And then next, so Bloodline come out after they get drafted to SmackDown, and I think Solo starts talking. Solo starts talking. He's with Tamatonga, and then like he just attacked them. Like Kevin Owens just came out and they were attacked them. Uh, and then they were beating him up a little bit, and then Randy Orton came out and kind of looked at Randy Orton and he started hugging him. So that was fun. Um, Bianca Belair was doing an interview about her being number one. Then Asuka and Kyrie came behind her because they're challenging for the titles. And then Jade Cargill came and uh, they just kind of just looked at each other, and that was it. And I think the main event was Cody versus Carmelo Hayes. Of course, this match was great. They did do one weird spot towards the end where I think they were both trying to go for the same thing. Like they were supposed to go for like a Cody Cutter and the clothesline thing that Melo does, but it didn't work. They kind of missed each other. But besides that, it was great stuff. You know, Carmelo got to do his thing. He came out after he got drafted and said, "Hey, he wants to shoot his shot. He's the number one male draft pick on SmackDown, uh, and I want to shoot my shot straight to the top. And my match that I want to do is against Cody Rhodes." So they had the match. It was great stuff. Um, Cody wins, of course. He shows some respect, handshake. You know, he's celebrating. He turns around. AJ Styles is right there. Doesn't attack him. Shakes his hand. And that was SmackDown. Again, 8 minutes of talking about SmackDown. There was nothing really going on. And then we go to Raw. Uh, Becky Lynch comes out. She starts the show. Talks about being champion. And, and then Liv Morgan comes out. She was like, "Hey, you should be thanking me because I'm the reason why you're champion right now. Because you couldn't get it done at WrestleMania. I'm the one that took her out." It was like, "Yeah, but you know, you had to prove yourself, and I'm glad you did. You want this match?" And then Nia Jax comes out, even though she's going to SmackDown because she got dropped to SmackDown. Uh, and she was like, "That's why I'm wearing blue." She told them, she was like, "Oh, you mad that I got drafted to the Superior show? See, that's why I'm wearing blue, you dumb idiot." I love Nia. She's great. And she said, "But before I leave, I'm going to take one of you out." So she's got some to the ring. And then Liv Morgan comes, drop kicks her, and she says, "I exit." So that was good stuff. Um, Next up, they did Woods versus Gunther. His match was great. Gunther was who was the number one draft pick. I guess. Well, I'll be nice to talk about that. Raw. Stephanie McMahon comes out. Style of Chris. Kingdom, King bow down. Love me, love me, love me. So that happened, and So she came out. First draft pick of Monday Night Raw, number one draft pick is Imperium, which is Gunther and Lou Kaiser. That's it, which is interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Next, SmackDown number one chooses Jade Cargill, of course. Number three, Raw selects Damage Control, which is interesting. Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane. And for SmackDown, they choose Kevin Owens. So, the last week, of course, Gunther comes out. He announces that he's going to be King of the Ring. That drew Woods in. So we're like, hey, I'm the current King of the Ring. You got to get through me. Talk about being champion. You ain't got no title and stuff like that. So they're having this one-on-one match. Uh, Woods, man, he fought valiantly. I love when they let Woods like wrestle, do one-on-one wrestling because he's really, really good, and they proved this here. Man, Gunther was chopping my boy to smithereens, and I loved all of it. In the end, um, Gunther had Woods in a submission move. He had like a Boston Crab, tried to crawl through the rope, and then Gunther was like, "Nope, got him." Caught the rope. Kofi Kingston's about to get his towels, about to throw it in, and everybody's like, well, not everybody. Ludwig and Gunther was like, "Throw in the towel," and then Woods was like, "Don't throw in the towel, don't throw in the towel. I got this, I got this." And Kofi's about to throw it, but then he doesn't throw it, throws in the crowd. And then Woods got to the rope, and then Gunther pulls him back, puts him puts it in him again, and then kind of like a STF type move, cranks it in, and then after like it seems like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes gone past, Woods finally tapped out. Gunther wins. Man, this is my favorite part. Gunther wins. He's celebrating, and then he does his thing, and he kind of looks at Woods, and he goes like this, he goes like that to Woods, like he has the King of the Ring crown. He goes like that, and he puts it on top of his head. That was great stuff. We love those. Next, Logan Paul is with I Show Speed. They open the show kind of backstage, and they're with Judgment Day, and they kind of talk mess about Jey Uso. He said, "Hey, Judgment Day, you're great. We love you guys. You guys been killing it. This is definitely your show." And then Priest was like, "Yeah, glad to have you here on the show. You're always welcome." He was like, "Yeah, you're great. You're definitely going to beat Jey Uso. He's trash. Forget about him. Don't worry about it." And then they were booing him, and it was like, "We also got my boy here," and it was Patrick Mahomes, of course, Super Bowl champ 3 times. Um, and so that was the opener of the show. And now they do some more draft picks. Raw, they select CM Punk. SmackDown chooses the Pride, which is Bobby Lashley, Street Profits, and B-Fab, which obviously was going to happen because Bianca Belair's number one draft pick to SmackDown. Raw chooses Braun Strowman, which is dope. And then SmackDown, of course, chooses Tiffany Stratton. Then after that was done, Logan Paul, he starts to cut a promo on Jey Uso for whatever reason, saying that he doesn't stand a chance against Damian Priest. He's not a real number one contender. And then that's brought in by Uso. Jey Uso, he comes out, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat him. You could get this deep down, all that stuff." He was like, the good stuff. And then he was like, "Oh, it's so predictable, all by yourself. You should have stayed with the bloodline. Here's my bloodline right here, and it's Judgment Day." He was like, and then they beat him down a little bit, and then Logan Paul's like, "Hey, let me get those Super Bowl rings." So he gets the Super Bowl ring, and he swings it at Jay, but Jay ducks. Pops JD in the big old head, and the crowd goes starts. This is the best part. And then Logan Paul and Finn Balor are like kind of standing like on two sides, and they were like that. And then Jay comes from I was like, "Dang man, you got knocked out. That's crazy what he did to your boy." And then Finn kind of still like under stress. He was like, he kind of tapped Jay. He was like, "Dang, you see that, bro?" Then he looked. He was like, and then he started beating him up. And then And then Logan Paul started beating him up, and then Braun shows up. Big pop. People love Braun. He's back. And then he starts cleaning house. Uh, Logan Paul runs away, and this is the hilarious part. So, he's starting to walk a little bit, and then he kind of just sits there. And then when you see him stand there, right behind him is a perfect shot of Patrick Mahomes. So he kind of looks back at him, and then he stares at him and kind of looks back, and then his two defensive boys stand up, and then Patrick Mahomes started talking all that trash, and Braun was like, "Bro, y'all want the smoke? I get the smoke with you, and with you." And Patrick Mahomes was yapping at that boy. Crowd was booing him. I was like, "Dang, he just want y'all chipping, y'all booing him." That's because your boy Jay Uso's over. And then Jay Uso was like, "It's all good, big dog. Hey, don't worry about him. Do that for another time." And then bro was like, "Oh yeah, you lucky he saved y'all. He saved all y'all." Bro, that boy Braun is big, man. Braun is big compared to like those football dudes. You see, Braun big. And Jay said, "Boy, y'all lucky. I just saved y'all." Whew, that was crazy. That was all good stuff. Then what happens next? Intercontinental title match: Sami Zayn versus Braun Reed. Before um yeah, so before that, um I think he's talking with Alpha Academy about, you know, what they should be doing. Uh somewhere uh uh our truth was negotiating a deal with Chad Gable to get him a tag team title match. Um Maxine was like, "Hey, I did good last week." It was like, "Not good enough. Did you win? No, you lost. You got to prove to me that you're actually decent. You two, you got a title match. Act right." And then, everybody, and then he turns around, they leave. He turns around, tough love, boom. Sammy poops him in the mouth, which was hilarious. Then they had the match. The match was good. You know, Sammy's great. Bronson Reed is great, but the end of the match didn't happen because Chad Gable interrupted. He beating the snot out of Sami Zayn. Said that's a receipt. But then Bronson Reed was like, "Bro, you just cost me a title match," and he beat him up. Tsunami on Sammy, and same thing on Chad Gable. He picks up the title, and he's not going to win. So, but that was good stuff. Uh, oh yeah. So next up, more draft picks. APA come out. They choose on Raw side. They choose LWO. SmackDown chooses Legado. Thank the Lord. Raw chooses Drew McIntyre. And SmackDown chooses Shinsuke Nakamura, which will be interesting. And then Drew comes out. He's like, "Bro, this is a joke. What is going on? APA, help the boy out. How am I getting drafted lower than CM Punk? Am I going crazy?" And Drew has been going crazy throughout the whole show. He's talking about Booker T because Booker T somehow, even though CM Punk was already drafted, he said he's waiting to see what's going to happen with Punk. And Drew comes out. He was like, "Bro, how can you say that? Like, I was with you in 2011. I know how you feel about Punk. Hey, you're switching sides on me, bro." He said, pick a side. You can't." Drew McIntyre is crazy. So he goes out there. He's saying that he said CM Punk. He's talking crazy about CM Punk and saying that he's at home. He's like, "Yeah, you injured me, but unlike you, who's at home, I'm here working because that's what I do. It's not being a little bitch like you." And then CM Punk's music hit. Everybody was like, "Oh, wait, hold up, time out." And then Drew's like, "What? Wait, what? CM Punk? Where'd you come from?" And then you hear, cut my music." He's on in the back. It's like, you thought that I was home, CM Punk boy. Now come find me, bitch. So they cut the commercial. They come back. It was great. He comes back. They find Drew McIntyre's walking. He's like, "Where is he? Where is he?" It was like, "He's in there." Like, he's in there. So he's in the skybox where Punk was. It has a picture of it. He's mad. He goes, starts to walk down a little bit, and then his music plays out on the stage. Drew McIntyre is mad, mad. That he's so mad. He said, he pretty much was just like, "Hey, for some reason you're obsessed with me. I don't know why you're like that crazy ex-girlfriend," which is hilarious because AJ Lee is crazy. Her gimmick is her being crazy. But he said, like, "You're like that crazy ex-girlfriend that just won't leave me alone. I don't know what it is. Your obsession with me, and that's what cost you your title with me. Like, get over me, please." um, yeah, good stuff. And he was sitting down like he was doing. He was kind of reminiscing. 2011, he was like on the best on this microphone in the ring on commentary. No offense to Pat and Michael Cole. You can't. You can't. You're not about this. This is levels to this. And after he was done, Drew kind of stared at him, and then CM Punk just turned his back on him. That's tough. So that was great stuff. Next up, Maxine is depressed about Chad Gable, what he said. And Ivan now was like, "Hey, come with me. You got some, shake it off. You'll be okay. We got this." Sheamus confronted Braun Breaker. Drew was mad. That's when Drew was mad and stuff like that. Uh, Rey Mysterio cut a promo. So Rey Mysterio knows on Raw. He linked up with Dom, so they're gonna see each other again more. Which, whatever. Luckily, though, he's injured, so we'll see what happens with all that. Jay Uso also did an interview, and while he was doing an interview, like Liv was kind of walking to the back, and then when she was also walking, you could also see like Dom Mysterio walk, but it kind of also looked like Damian Priest was walking back there. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Uh, Candice LeRae beats Maxine Dupree. Maxine Dupree, she was getting in, she was throwing in the suplex, the fisherman suplex, hitting the backwards worm. She did like a cool little nip up. But Indy Hartwell distracts Maxine. She beats her up, and that gets the distraction for Candice LeRae to get Alpha Academy out of there. So that's good stuff. CM Punk stuff was good stuff. Then you had Liv versus Nia Jax. Good match. Tiffany Stratton was in the crowd because she was with her, and then you know Liv Morgan is, she was targeting Nia Jax. She was kicking her head on the post, on the ring post. Nia Jax also was doing her stuff. She was Samoan dropping, elbowing, stuff like that. Liv hit a power bomb on Nia Jax. All good stuff. Loved everything about it. Then Naomi came. She attacked Tiffany Stratton. Again, distracts Liv Morgan. Distracts Nia Jax. She hit her with like the recoil move, and then she got on the ropes. Boom, hit Oblivion. Liv Morgan wins. Uh, Good, she got her a win. It'll still be interesting to see what they do with her and Becky if Liv is gonna win. We'll talk about that. So that was all good stuff. Um, Next up, they did that was R-Truth versus Alpha Academy. R-Truth, Awesome Truth win. There's nothing really crazy about that. Miz did boot the mess out of Cesaro. He like flipped out the ring. That was crazy. Uh, you go backstage again. Um, Judgment Day is like, "This is why I don't want you guys getting involved in my business. Look what happened. Boy got punched out. Y'all hurt." He was like, "Hey, we got you. Don't worry about it." And then and they show and so JD got like a ice pack on his eye and stuff like that, and he removes it, and everybody was like, "Oh my Lord Jesus Christ, what is going on with your face?" And it was hilarious. It was just hilarious, and JD was like, "Is it always this bright?" Oh, the poor man. Oh, I love JD now. Oh, this is the JD I like. just being there. The goofy stuff is great. I love it. So that's all good stuff. And then I think was it the main event? Yeah, it was the main event. So in the main event, it's El Idolo, Andrade, his last time on Raw because he got drafted to SmackDown. Ricochet and main event Jey Uso against the world champion Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and JD. Don't Google me. Um, so this was a fun match. Um, you know, it was good stuff. It was a good match. Against Jey Uso, his win because he's definitely not winning on Saturday or Sunday or whatever day Backlash is. He's not winning that. Um, so that's going to be the first step to proving uh, Priest is a worthy world champion contender. Uso beat. So it's also going to be interesting. We'll see what happens after Jey loses because I don't think he's going to win clean. I don't think Priest is going to beat Jey clean. So whatever happens, that'll be interesting to see what will be next for him. And I also don't think I don't think Drew's going to be next for him because he's going to be too occupied about CM Punk. I do have a guess of who I think his next is going to be, but we'll talk about that in one quick second. Gives Andrade his win before he goes back to SmackDown. Again, it gives Ricochet more momentum. Um, yeah, so uh, overall, I digged Raw. I digged SmackDown. There wasn't a lot of wrestling, but obviously, I think everything is going to switch up after Backlash, which is Backlash is coming up, right? Backlash is the first or the fourth. I said the first, the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. I think calendar or May 6th, something like that. May 6th. I'm lying. May 6th is yeah, May 4th. Yeah, May 4th. May 4th because there's the whole May the 4th. Yeah. Yes, May 4th because um final trades and stuff like that is the 6th is on that Monday. Back backlash. Yeah, May 4th. So it's Saturday, May 4th. Yeah, it is May 4th. Um, what am I doing May 4th? Am I working May 4th? Well, I am working May 4th. But what time do I work May 4th? Ooh, oh my lord, 10 to that sucks. 10 to 6. That's tough. I'm gonna be watching it late. Dang. Okay, well, I don't know. So anyway, so that was that. So I got the SmackDown, everything for SmackDown from the women's side, from the men's side, the tag divisions of what they got going on. So for Raw, you got your top champion, the WWE champion, is Cody Rhodes. United States champion, you got Logan Paul. So their draft picks, this is who they chose: Carmelo Hayes, Randy Orton, L.A. Knight, yeah, AJ Styles, Andrade, Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, uh, uh, Vinci, uh, Apollo Crews, Bobby Lashley, Santos. Pride, who got for Bobby Lashley, the whole Pride. That's who that with that. For the women, you got the women's champion Bayley, got Bianca Belair, Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, Naomi, your big three, Tiffany Stratton, Blair Davenport, Tegan Knox, Mia Yim, who's with the OC, and B-Fab again, who's with the Pride, Street Profits. SmackDown, Tag Division, Tag Team Champs, 8-Town Down Under. Light Bloodline, Solo and Paul and Tama Tonga. The OC with Miriam and Carl Anderson and them. The Pride, the Street Profits, Legado, the Phantasma, Pretty Deadly, DIY, and Cedric and Ashante, the Adonis. And then for the women's tag team, there's Candy and Indy got drafted, Chelsea and Piper, the female way, the Indy and Candice, and I mean they're not technically part, but they keep calling themselves the Big Three, which is Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. And Bianca and Jade got a title match against Damage Control, which I think they're going to win, so they could be on both brands because Bianca and Jade Cargill is too big not to be on both brands. They're just too big not to be on both brands, and it gives them the excuse to be on both brands, even though they're going to be SmackDown exclusive. For Raw, World Champion Damian Priest, Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn, number 1 overall draft pick. You got Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Ricochet, Sheamus, Ilya Dragunov, Odyssey Jones, Dijak, Ivar, Karrion Kross. So Dijak comes up from NXT. Karrion Kross, from part of the Final Testament, comes up. Braun Breaker officially up. Ilya Dragunov officially up. Good stuff. Women's, your women's champion right now is Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan, number 1. Kiana James, call up. Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Natalya, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai, and Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Ivy Nile, part of the Creeds. Maxine Dupri, who's part of the Alpha Academy. Tag teams. Tag team champs is Awesome Truth. You have Imperium, which is, they grouped Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, but I don't think Gunther is going to be in the tag team with Ludwig. I just don't. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Alpha Academy, Final Testament, AOP specifically, New Day, New Catch Republic, the Creeds, LWO, and the Judgment Day. So there's that. And for the women's tag team, this is kind of interesting. So they got Katana and Katana Chance and Carter. You got the Unholy Union. And then for question marks, I put Maxine and Ivy. I put question mark because they've been tagging with each other. She's been her mentor. And then I also did Shayna and Zoe because they also been tagging. But again, Shayna and Zoe got drafted separately. They didn't get drafted together. Katana and Kaden and Katana got drafted together. Unholy Union got drafted together. Maxine obviously got drafted with Alpha Academy, and Ivy got drafted with the Creeds, but they're still kind of a tag team. And then obviously Kabuki Warrior, the champion. So this is going to be interesting to see what they're going to do after Backlash. Because still after Backlash, there's still room for trades. You can still trade if they want. Say, for me, say Adam Pearce, it was like, well, I didn't really want Chelsea, but I kind of feel bad for Piper, but I kind of want Piper. It was like, hey, Aldous, I don't want Chelsea, but you give me Piper Niven. Hey, who would you want? Because I kind of see something in Piper Niven. So maybe he'd be like, um, maybe he'd be like, well, how about maybe he gets Zoe Stark. That would be something that would be interesting because I kind of think that they should both be. Um, I think they should both be like doing single stuff. I don't think they really need to be doing tag team type stuff. I don't think. I think Shayna's too good right now and what she's about to do to be a tag team person. I think Zoe got a lot of upside, and I think she could be on her own without doing tag team. As soon as she came up, that she's been doing stuff in tag team. She's been with Trish Stratus. Now she was teaming with Shayna. Let her go on her own. Let her do her own thing. That's what I think. Also, I would, if you would trade, hey, maybe you would trade your champions. Maybe you could trade. Maybe you put Sammy on SmackDown if he's still champion. You have him win the title, and you trade um, Logan Paul to Raw. Except, because you still got the whole bloodline thing. Sammy and Kevin obviously still best friends. They're gonna do some stuff with Randy Orton, of course. Over on that side, Jay Uso just like randomly did some stuff against to Jay. So maybe, maybe he goes to Raw. Maybe there's a Jay in Logan Paul feud. Maybe Jay wins the United States title instead. Maybe he wins the U.S. title. Maybe they bring Logan Paul up and put him in the world title scene on Raw. That would be interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff for Logan Paul on Raw. You know, um, Jay Uso, maybe Seth Rollins again. Braun Breaker would be interesting. Him and Ricochet have beef still. Him and Sheamus, him and Ilya. I mean, there's a lot of good new options for him. Him versus Priest. So there's a lot of good options for him if he switches brand. It'll be something different. It'll be fun. I think Punk, him versus Punk, maybe him versus Drew, maybe it'll be interesting. On the SmackDown side, was really stuck out to me. Two people: Blair Davenport, Tegan Knox. Blair Davenport, she was the last draft you see from on the SmackDown side. They chose Blair Davenport. She is somebody that I thought that should have already been on main roster because she's so good, and she wasn't. When I realized she wasn't winning the title there, I was like, she really don't need to be there. Um, so that was something that I was like, you don't need NXT. You're just there. Come to main roster. Get some of this wrestling stuff in. And I think she'll be a good. She's kind of unorthodox, and she was like kind of like where I think Carmella or Alexa Bliss, maybe both of them were, where they were like this last draft pick, and everyone's like, why did they draft this person? They're like, and then they became one of the top, or they both came like former women's champion. Alexa Bliss is like one of those top names that are like, if you need somebody to beat your four horsewomen, your Charlotte Flairs, your Baileys, your Beckys, your Sasha Monets, and it could be believable. Alexa Bliss was one of them. Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Bianca, Rhea, those are the four. Those are the top four that you'd be like, oh yeah, you could beat all of them, and nobody would bat an eye. It's it's Bianca probably number one. Asuka, uh, I mean Jade too, obviously now. Um, Mela, Alexa Bliss, they're in that top few that can do it. Maybe Liv could be in there. So I mean, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what Blair be able to do. And then also Tegan Knox is also an interesting one because I love Tegan Knox, and I think Tegan Knox always, like, she's a good wrestler, but she always gets injured, and it's always like, darn it. But now and then when she's there, she was teaming with Natalia. I was like, man, let her do her own thing. She's good. She's great. Now it's gonna be on SmackDown, where it's gonna be like more opportunity to you know to be, especially with Bailey. Bailey's like this new champion, and it's like it feels like she got like the young bucks with her. She got Belair, who somehow is young and a vet. Naomi again, young but a strong veteran. You're gonna have Blair, who's a veteran but she's new. Tegan Knox is new. B-Fab, Jay Cargill's pretty new. So that is like SmackDown got all the new developing. We're gonna put you on this timer. We'll see how you work. And then Raw is just like we're just gonna wrestle. That's what we got. We got wrestlers. We got Seth Rollins. We got Braun Breaker. We got Ricochet, Sheamus, Ilya Dragunov, Dijak. Odyssey Jones is gonna show hopefully what he can do. You got the big meaty man. You got him, Ivar, Bronson Reed. I think it's on. I don't remember I put him on there, but like you got those guys on there. So you got the big meaty man slapping me. You got Otis on there too, so you can do some of that stuff. You got some. Gunther, Newcastle Republic, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Ilya, all of them with Drew and Sheamus. I mean, the tag teams you got the Creed brothers, you got the New Day, again Newcastle Republic. You got LWO, you got Alpha Academy, you got AOP there. You got There's a lot of wrestling that could go on with that. The tag team is going to be a little interesting to see what's going to happen on the Raw women's side, but on SmackDown, if you notice, you got Indy and Candice, you got Piper and Chelsea, you got the female three way. They're all heels, and then you got if Bianca and Jade win the tag team titles, you got babyface team to contend with all of those heels because you're not turning Candice and Indy face because they just became. Oh shoot! I put Candice and Candy and I put the female way. That's hilarious. But you got female way in this, so you got Indus and Candy and Piper who are both heels. You got the big three who are baby faces, so you can do something with them. But on Raw side, if you have them as champions, you got Buki Warriors. Who are they going to feud with? Are they going to feud with the Unholy Union? Are they going to feud with Katana Chance? It'll be interesting to see what they do with that side over there. While Naomi and or not Naomi, Bianca and Jade, while they, and maybe they could bring Naomi with them because we're the big three. You got Damage Control, we got the big three, and we can all be over here. Uh, that's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting, and of course, uh, what do I think is going to happen after this? So the OC with AJ Styles and with Miriam and Cody Rhodes as champion. It's gonna be interesting to see how that happens because it's like okay, so they drafted out everybody from besides Finn obviously and Bullet Club was on SmackDown. So are they gonna go back with AJ? Are they gonna be the babyface version of him? Are they gonna tweak Cody's character a little bit? So what they're gonna do is AJ gonna find somebody else? Is he gonna hop on like what do you do? Do you get like AJ Styles? Do you get like them with do you get him with like DIY? Do you get him with Ashante and Cedric? You know, do another OC type thing? I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Do you have Andrade go after Logan Paul with Melo? Do you have Melo be with Cedric and Ashante? Like, what do we do? Triple H loves him some factions. He does. So he's when he does this, he's trying to cook up some factions. They got Nia Jax on SmackDown because she got bloodline implications. Uh, you can attest that with Naomi, who they attacked their Jimmy, so she might be part of the good bloodline whenever they come back. There's so many stuff you can do. Mia Yim, is she gonna bring in Tegan Knox or Blair Davenport to be like a version of like an OC? Because she ain't gonna be winning no top titles anytime soon. So maybe she might get in the tag division to do some. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like Triple H does everything for a reason, and I think they're gonna hop in a faction game. It's gonna be faction warfare. I feel it in my bones. You got still got Bloodline, you got the OC, you got the Pride, you got Legato, pretty deadly. They're still gonna be in that hunt. I think there I think there's going to be some gang warfare on SmackDown. Feel it in my bones. There's going to be some gang warfare on SmackDown. I feel it. There. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. What do you guys think of the draft? Let me know. I'm out.